Before we begin, a quick word from our sponsor, NordVPN. IP address provides an identity to your network device. So what does it reveal about you? Your IP address can show the country, region, and city from which you connect to the internet in real time. Using IP address lookups, anyone can get details such as your internet service provider or host name. Why is that important? Combining your online activity and IP location data allows snoopers to get a profile of who's accessing the internet from that specific IP address. Your internet service provider can check and log your browsing history. It means authorities can get all personal details about any internet user, including name, address, phone number, and credit card details upon request. Associating your IP address with your online activity provides advertisers with insights about your ad preferences so that brands can serve you highly targeted ads. They can also add your IP to a specific list used for IP targeting. When using a VPN, your IP address stays inaccessible to snoopers and cyber criminals. Sign up today at nordvpn.com/Mark Felton and enter the promo code Mark Felton to get 73% off a 2-year plan and 4 months extra for free. If you've ever visited a Madame Tussauds Waxworks museum, you've probably had your photo taken next to your favorite film star, musician, or historic figure. Undoubtedly, you've been surprised by how tall or short many actually are in real life, as we are so used to seeing them through the paradigm of movie and TV screens. So what about the leaders of World War II, both Allied and Axis, who loom like giants across history, the men whose decisions changed the course of human existence for good or ill? How did they rank in the stature department? You may be surprised. One thing to bear in mind is that people are on average taller today than in the past. The World War II generation were shorter and thinner than modern people of the same age, and if you've ever tried on a World War II helmet or uniform, you'll know what I mean. So let's begin. In reverse order from shortest to tallest, here are the World War II leaders by height. The shortest man on our list is at number 7, Emperor Hirohito of Japan. The God Emperor was a mere 5 feet 4 inches or 165 centimeters tall. This is perhaps a little unfair in comparison to European leaders, as the World War II era Japanese tended to be several inches shorter on average. Hirohito was emperor right through World War II and presided over his nation's surrender in August 1945. He was controversially kept on the throne by the Americans after the war. Hirohito outlived all the other World War II leaders, dying in 1989 at the age of 87. At joint number 6 is the man responsible for upwards of 20 million deaths, Soviet leader Josef Stalin. Standing at 5 feet 6 inches or 168 centimeters, Stalin also had a damaged left arm following a childhood accident, making him by today's standards slightly disabled. Stalin ruled the Soviet Union with an iron fist from 1924 until his death, officially from a cerebral hemorrhage in 1953, aged 74. Also at number 6 is Benito Mussolini, who was also 5'6". Mussolini, who seized power in Italy in 1922, established a fascist state and fell from power in 1943, but was rescued by his friend Hitler. He then ruled the puppet Italian Social Republic in northern Italy until April 1945. Mussolini's career ended abruptly after being captured by Italian partisans as he attempted to flee Italy. He was put up against a wall and shot at the age of 61. At joint number 5 is British wartime Prime Minister Winston Churchill at 5 feet 6.5 inches or 169 centimeters. Churchill, who became Prime Minister in 1940, was voted out of office in 1945, but returned as Prime Minister for a second term in 1951-55. Churchill, a colossus as an international statesman and probably the most famous British leader in history, died in 1965 at the age of 90. Sharing position number 5 with Churchill is wartime Chinese nationalist leader Chiang Kai-shek, known to the Allies due to his corruption as Cash My Check. Although one of the victors against Japan, Chiang lost the Chinese Civil War that followed to communist leader Mao Zedong and fled to Taiwan, where he ruled until his death in 1975 at the age of 87. At number 4 is Adolf Hitler, leader of Germany from 1933 until his death in his Berlin bunker in 1945, 10 days after his 56th birthday. Hitler stood 5 feet 8.5 inches, or 174 centimeters, which was slightly above average for the era, making him the tallest dictator on our list. At joint number 3 are the two men who became Allied leaders at the tail end of World War II, US President Harry S. Truman and British Prime Minister Clement Attlee. Both men stood 5 feet 9 inches tall, or 175 centimeters. Truman was president from 1945 to 53. He died in 1972, aged 88. Prime Minister Attlee took over from Churchill following the 1945 British general election. As well as overseeing the end of World War II in Asia, Attlee was responsible for Indian independence in 1947 and the modern welfare state and the National Health Service. Created an Earl, Attlee died in 1967, aged 84. Coming in at joint second place are President Franklin Delano Roosevelt and Prime Minister Neville Chamberlain, both men standing 6 foot 2 inches, or 188 centimeters. In the case of Roosevelt, he was America's only disabled president, thus far, polio having left him in a wheelchair. Nonetheless, he was elected 4 times, but died in office in 1945, shortly before the Germans' surrender, at the age of 63. Neville Chamberlain was British Prime Minister from 1937 to 1940, and had tried to stop Hitler's expansionist agenda in the late 1930s through diplomacy. He was replaced as Prime Minister by Winston Churchill, but he continued to serve in the War Cabinet. He died of cancer just 6 months after leaving Downing Street at the age of 71. And at number 1, the tallest World War II leader, Brigadier General Charles de Gaulle, leader of the Free French, who towered at 6 foot 4 inches, or 196 centimeters tall. He headed the Provisional French government following the liberation of France in 1944-46, was Prime Minister 1958-59, and then President until 1969. He died in 1970 at the age of 79. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and share, and also visit my audiobook channel, War Stories with Mark Felton. You can also help to support both of my channels at PayPal and Patreon. Details in the description box below.